let me tell you something that might sound too simple to matter, and then let me explain why it's actually one of the most revealing 3 seconds in any relationship. A hug tells a woman almost everything she needs to know about a man, and it has nothing to do with hand placement, timing tricks, or some sequence of moves you're supposed to run through in your head while you're holding her. It's not a technique at all. It's something much harder to fake, and much more valuable once you actually have it. I've seen men who can talk a great game, confident voice, good eye contact, says all the right things, completely give themselves away the second they hug someone. Stiff shoulders. Arms that don't quite know where to go. A grip that's either so light it feels like an apology, or so tight and long it feels like he's trying to hold onto something before it gets away. And on the other end of it, I've seen quiet, unremarkable guys, nothing flashy about them at all, hug someone and the whole room seems to soften a little. Not because they knew a secret move. Because there was nothing underneath the hug except them actually being there. That's what we're talking about today. Not a technique. A state. And I think once you understand the difference, you'll never look at physical affection the same way again. Here's why a hug tells the truth faster than almost anything else you do with another person. Most of the time, when we're interacting, we're managing something. We're choosing our words. We're aware of our facial expression. We're, whether we mean to or not, performing a slightly edited version of ourselves. That's not dishonest, it's just how social interaction works. Words pass through a filter before they leave your mouth. A hug mostly skips that filter. Your body doesn't have the same vocabulary for editing itself that your mouth does. If you're anxious, your shoulders know before you do. If you're overthinking the moment, your arms get stiff and mechanical, like you're following instructions instead of just holding someone. If you're trying too hard to seem calm and confident, that effort has its own texture, and it doesn't actually feel like calm, it feels like someone working hard to look calm, which is a very different sensation to be on the receiving end of. This is why women, and honestly, people in general, pick up on something in a hug that they often can't fully explain afterward. They're not analyzing your technique. They're reading your nervous system, whether they realize that's what they're doing or not. Now, I want to walk through the 2 ways this usually goes wrong, because understanding the mistakes makes the fix obvious. The first failure mode is the guarded hug. Arms out, quick pat, quick release, like he's hugging a coworker he's not totally sure he likes. This usually isn't coldness, it's self-protection. A lot of men carry some low hum of discomfort with physical affection, especially with a woman they're actually attracted to, because closeness makes them feel exposed. So the body does what bodies do when they feel exposed. It minimizes contact and gets the moment over with as fast as possible. The problem is, that discomfort is contagious. If you're bracing, she feels the bracing. And a hug that's meant to communicate warmth ends up communicating the opposite, distance, wrapped in the shape of an embrace. The second failure mode is the opposite problem, and it's just as common, maybe more damaging, the hug that holds on too long, too tight, out of something closer to need than warmth. This one usually comes from a good place. The man genuinely likes her, genuinely wants to be close to her, and that wanting leaks into the hug as a kind of grip, like if he holds on a little longer, it'll mean a little more. But here's what actually happens on her end. She feels the neediness before she feels anything else. And neediness, even well-intentioned neediness, has a way of making a moment feel less like connection and more like a request. Instead of "I'm here with you," it starts to read as "please feel something for me right now," which is a much heavier thing to be handed in a 3-second hug. Notice that both of these failure modes, too guarded and too clingy, actually come from the same root. Not being fully present. One is bracing against the moment, the other is grabbing at it. Neither one is actually in it. So what does it look like when a man gets this right? I want to describe it carefully, because it's easy to hear "just relax" and think that's the whole answer, when it's actually a little more specific than that. A grounded hug starts before you even make contact. It's in how you approach, not hesitant, not rushed, just a natural, unhurried movement, the same way you'd move toward a friend you're genuinely glad to see. No performance in it. No internal checklist running. When contact happens, your arms find a natural position instead of a calculated one, not rigid, not gripping, just settled, the way your hand settles around a coffee mug you're not thinking about. Your breathing stays normal. This is actually one of the most reliable tells there is. When men get anxious, they tend to either hold their breath slightly or take a shallow, quick breath. When you're actually relaxed, your breathing doesn't change much at all, and that steadiness is something the other person's body registers even if their conscious mind is thinking about something else entirely. And here's the part most guides on this topic get completely backwards: a grounded hug is responsive, not scripted. You're not running a predetermined sequence regardless of how she's reacting. You're actually paying attention. If she leans in and seems to want the moment to last a beat longer, you stay present for that. If she starts to pull back, you let her, immediately and without resistance, because her comfort was never a hurdle to manage on the way to some outcome, it was the whole point. That responsiveness is, honestly, the real signal of confidence. A man who needs to control every second of a hug according to some internal plan isn't actually confident, he's anxious in a very organized way. A man who can stay warm and present and adjust naturally based on what the other person is actually communicating, that's a man who isn't afraid of the interaction, because he's not trying to extract anything from it. Here's the deeper truth underneath all of this, and it's the same truth that shows up in basically every part of male confidence, if you look closely enough. You cannot fake being comfortable in your own skin. You can fake the appearance of it for a few seconds if you're disciplined enough, but the body has a way of telling on you eventually, and a hug happens to be one of the fastest places it does that. So if you find that your hugs run cold and mechanical, or too tight and lingering, the actual work isn't in learning a better hugging technique. It's in getting more comfortable with closeness itself, with being seen, with wanting something and not needing it to be confirmed immediately, with letting a moment be exactly as significant or as ordinary as it actually is, instead of trying to manufacture significance out of it. That comfort tends to come from the same place all real confidence comes from, a life and a sense of self that don't depend on this particular moment going a particular way. If your whole nervous system is quietly asking, did that mean something? Does she like me? Was that too long, too short? She will feel that question hanging in the air, even if you never say it out loud. But if you can hug someone, genuinely enjoy the closeness, and let go without needing it to have been a verdict on anything, that ease is unmistakable. It doesn't need a technique. It's simply what a settled man feels like to be near. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this: stop thinking about what to do with your arms, and start paying attention to what's actually going on underneath them. Are you bracing? Are you grabbing? Or are you actually there? That's the whole answer. Not a sequence. Not a move. Just presence, offered without an agenda attached to it. And I promise you, that reads louder than anything you could plan in advance. If this gave you something to think about, stick around. Next week we're getting into how this same idea, presence over performance, shows up in conversation, and why the men who never seem to run out of things to say are usually doing far less than you'd think. Take care of yourself, gentlemen. I'll see you in the next one.